There's something truly magical about revisiting legendary games. It's not just about nostalgia, it's about rediscovering what made those experiences unforgettable in the first place. These aren't just games you play, they stay with you, get inside your head, and maybe even hit differently now than they did the first time. I've picked out 18 masterpieces that definitely deserve another playthrough this year. So, let's get started. 1. Batman Arkham Asylum. Man, Arkham Asylum still lives rent-free in my head. That moment you first walk through those dark, echoing hallways of the asylum, it's pure atmosphere. Rocksteady absolutely nailed it. The tone, the combat, the voice acting. You don't just play as Batman, you are Batman. And hearing the Joker's laughter echoing down the halls still gives me chills every single time. What makes it even better is how focused it is. No massive city to get lost in, no filler side quests, just a tight, perfectly paced story that grabs you and doesn't let go. Every inch of that asylum feels designed to mess with your mind, and those Scarecrow nightmare sequences, still some of the best moments ever put into a game. It's wild how few people still talk about it. Playing it again in 2025, you really see how it set the standard for every superhero game that came after. The combat still feels smooth, the stealth is still satisfying, and the story still hits hard. If you haven't revisited Arkham Asylum lately, do it. You'll remember exactly why you fell in love with Batman games in the first place. 2. Red Dead Redemption. Every time I go back to Red Dead Redemption, I end up losing hours just riding through the desert, doing absolutely nothing productive. And yet there's something hauntingly peaceful about it. That dusty sunset, that soft guitar playing in the distance, and John Marston's story. Man, it all hits differently now. Especially after playing the second game, everything just makes so much more sense. It's one of those games that never rushes you. It lets you breathe, it lets you feel the world. One moment you're quietly having a drink in Armadillo, and the next you're in a chaotic shootout with outlaws. Even after all these years, the world still feels alive. But what truly makes this game worth replaying is the story. Marston's struggle between redemption and his violent past, it's timeless. It's the kind of story that sticks with you, especially once you already know how it ends. Playing it again now, after Red Dead 2, gives everything new meaning. You start connecting the dots, and it hits so much harder. If you've never played the first Red Dead Redemption, do yourself a favor this year. It's not just a game, it's an experience that defines what video games are capable of. 3. Resident Evil 1 Remake. The Resident Evil 1 Remake is living proof that some games age like fine wine. Every time I start it up, a wave of nostalgia hits me. It's like stepping right back into the golden PS1 era. The fixed camera angles, the slow pacing, the limited ammo, all those things modern games tend to avoid are exactly what make this one so good. It's not about running and gunning, it's about surviving. It's about tension. You feel every creaking door, every zombie groan, every cautious step through the dark. And that's what I love most. It doesn't rely on cheap jump scares. It gets under your skin through atmosphere alone. A lot of people don't even mention this remake anymore, but to me, it's one of the best ever made. They managed to improve on something that was already legendary. Playing it in 2025, it still looks and feels incredible. The remake didn't just update the visuals, it completely redefined what survival horror could feel like. And that mansion, still one of the most iconic settings ever created. Every time I replay it, I find something I'd forgotten, a corridor, a puzzle, or that one zombie that somehow still manages to freak me out. If you want to remember what true survival horror feels like, revisit this one. It's a masterclass in tension and design, and it's never lost its edge.
4. L.A. Noire. Man, L.A. Noire is one of those games that doesn't get talked about enough.
It feels like stepping straight into a classic Hollywood film. Every case, every cigarette drag, every shadowy alley, it's pure 1940s atmosphere. Yeah, it's slower paced, but that's the point. It's all about paying attention, reading faces, and piecing together the truth. What I love most is that the game doesn't treat you like a superhero or a soldier. You're just a detective trying to do the right thing in a city drowning in corruption. And those facial animations, still impressive even today. You can actually see guilt, lies, hesitation. It makes every interrogation feel intense and personal. What makes it worth replaying in 2025 is how unique it still is. No one's really made anything like it since. It's part open world, part detective drama, and part psychological puzzle. And once you get caught up in Cole Phelps' story, it's hard to stop. Even after finishing it multiple times, I still find myself replaying the same cases just to see if I can catch a suspect lying a little better this time. L.A. Noire is more than just a game. It's a time capsule of storytelling, and it's every bit as captivating now as it was the day it launched. Number 5. Super Mario 3D World. This game is pure nostalgia and fun wrapped into one. Super Mario 3D World is the kind of game where you just can't stay mad, even after falling off the map for the 10th time. Everything about it radiates joy. The colors, the music, the power-ups. It's Nintendo doing what Nintendo does best. What I love is how it perfectly blends that classic 3D Mario feel with absolute co-op chaos. If you play with friends or family, get ready for total madness, pushing each other off platforms, stealing the flag, and laughing the whole way through. But even solo, it's amazing. The level design is so sharp and creative, constantly throwing new ideas at you that keep things fresh from start to finish. And then there's the cat Mario suit. I'll admit, I thought it looked kinda silly at first, but once I started climbing walls like a cartoon Spider-Man, I was hooked. It's just so satisfying to run, jump, and explore at your own pace. Plus, Bowser's Fury, that mini open-world Mario experience, might be short, but it's incredible. Playing it again in 2025, it feels like this game never truly aged. It's one of those titles that reminds you why you fell in love with video games in the first place. Not because of graphics or realism, but because it's simply fun. 6. Infamous Second Son. Man, Infamous Second Son still gives me chills. That intro sequence with the smoke powers kicking in, the music, the city of Seattle, it's all just so cool. This game made me feel powerful in a way that few open-world games ever did. Delsin Rowe isn't your typical hero. He's rebellious, sarcastic, and just fun to play as. What makes it so good even now is how it nails that sense of freedom. You're not climbing towers or grinding levels. You're literally flying across rooftops, zipping through vents, and blasting enemies with neon energy. Every power you unlock feels different, like you're constantly learning new ways to cause chaos. And the moral choices, they still make you stop and think. Are you going to be the hero Seattle needs, or the villain who burns it all down? The fact that you can choose and that the world reacts to it gives it so much replay value. Replaying it today, I was surprised at how clean it still looks. Those particle effects, man, they still hold up. It's just one of those underrated PlayStation gems that people forget about, but once you dive back in, you remember just how fun being superhuman can be. 7. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Now this was a game that truly surprised me. Fallen Order nailed it. The first time I blocked a blaster shot and sent it flying back, I literally smiled like a kid. Cal Kestis' journey might start small, but man, it turns into an epic story about hope, loss, and survival. The combat is incredibly satisfying. Every duel feels intense. It's not about button mashing, it's about timing, patience, and that glorious hum of the lightsaber. And those planets, they look like they were ripped straight out of the movies. Exploring ancient temples, solving puzzles, climbing through ruins, it's pure Star Wars adventure. What keeps me coming back, though, is the heart of it all. Cal's growth, his fear, his bond with BD1, it all feels so genuine. And that little droid, easily one of the best companions in any game, hands down. Even in 2025, this game still looks stunning. The music, the performances, the world, everything still shines. If you're a Star Wars fan or just love a great story-driven game, Fallen Order is absolutely worth revisiting. 8. The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. I don't even know where to start. Tears of the Kingdom is just magical. It's the kind of game that completely makes you lose track of time. You think, I'll just glide over there real quick, and suddenly it's 3 a.m. and you're building a flying car out of tree branches and rockets. This game absolutely had to be on the list. It takes everything Breath of the Wild did right and cranks it up to 11. The creativity, the freedom, the exploration. It's like the game hands you a toolbox and says, go wild. And you do, because every experiment leads to something new. You can climb anything, build anything, and tackle every situation in your own ridiculous, brilliant way. And that's what makes it so special. No two players have the same experience. One person's building mechs, another's cooking weird meals, and I'm over here accidentally setting entire forests on fire. It's the ultimate playground for creativity. But beyond all the mechanics, it's still a deeply emotional experience. The world feels alive, mysterious, and full of heart. Playing it again in 2025 feels just as incredible as it did at launch. This isn't just a game, it's an adventure that stays with you long after you turn the console off. 9. Sleeping Dogs. Man, Sleeping Dogs is one of those games nobody talks about enough, but once you play it, you never forget it. It's basically GTA meets Hong Kong action cinema, and it's absolutely incredible. The hand-to-hand combat still holds up. It's brutal, fast, and ridiculously satisfying. You're slamming guys into phone booths, jumping from car to car, and fighting like you're straight out of a Jackie Chan movie. But what really hooked me was the story. Wei Shen isn't your typical protagonist. He's torn between loyalty and duty, and that inner conflict makes every mission hit harder. You're not just climbing the ranks of the underworld, you're trying to survive without losing who you are. And man, Hong Kong feels alive. The neon lights, the street markets, the narrow alleys, it's got this unique vibe no other open world game has ever captured. Even replaying it in 2025, it still feels fresh and criminally underrated. I always tell people Sleeping Dogs isn't just about fighting and driving. It's about style, atmosphere, and that perfect balance between chaos and heart. It's the kind of game that deserved way more love than it got.
The first thing you must do is build a new
10. Mad Max. Man, there's no way Mad Max could be left out of this list. This game makes you feel the wasteland. The dust, the wreckage, the desperation. You can almost taste the sand. It's not just another open world game, it's pure, brutal survival. Honestly, it's one of the best open world experiences out there. Driving through that endless desert is amazing. The vehicular combat is loud, chaotic, and insanely addictive. It feels like you're starring in your own post-apocalyptic movie. Upgrading your car, the magnum opus, becomes this weird obsession. You start with scraps, and before you know it, you've built a monster on wheels, tearing through warbands and blowing up convoys in glorious slow motion. The world itself tells a story. It's quiet, desolate, and strangely beautiful. You'll drive for miles and suddenly stumble upon half-buried ruins, eerie reminders of the old world. A lot of people overlooked Mad Max, but honestly, replaying it in 2025 is an incredible experience. It's got that rare mix of adrenaline and atmosphere. It doesn't need endless dialogue or flashy cutscenes, just raw, gritty survival. It's one of those worlds that sticks with you long after you've left it. A game that deserved way more recognition than it ever got.
those with resources.
11. Detroit's Become Human. Now this one hit me hard. Detroit Become Human isn't just a game, it's an emotional experience. Every decision you make carries weight. It's not about winning or losing, it's about how you shape these characters' lives. Connor, Kara, Marcus, they all feel like real people. You care about them, you stress over their choices, and sometimes you mess up and just have to live with it. That's what makes it so human. Every small decision branches into something bigger, and by the end, you look back and realize you've written your own version of the story. What's crazy is how cinematic it still feels today. The graphics, the acting, the pacing, it all just pulls you in. And every replay hits different because you'll never make the exact same choices twice. In 2025, Detroit still stands as one of the most emotional and thought-provoking games out there. It makes you question humanity, freedom, and empathy, and that's something not many games can pull off.
Far Cry 4. Considered by many as one of the best in the series, Far Cry 4 is honestly incredible. Pagan Min, this guy is easily one of the best villains ever created. He's charming, insane, and completely unpredictable. Every time he's on screen, you just know something wild is about to go down. The world of Kyrat is absolutely stunning. One minute you're scaling snowy mountains, the next you're sneaking through dense jungles with a bow and arrow. There's so much freedom. Whether you want to go full stealth ninja or just blow everything up with a grenade launcher, the game lets you play your way. And honestly, Far Cry 4 is the perfect mix of beauty and chaos. One moment you're charging enemy camps on an elephant, and the next you're being attacked by eagles out of nowhere. It's unpredictable, explosive, and never ever boring. Replaying it today, it still feels fresh. The mechanics hold up, the gameplay is smooth, and the world feels alive. Even when Pagan Min isn't on screen, his presence lingers. It's one of those games that truly defined what an open-world shooter should be. Wild, cinematic, and absolutely addictive. 13. S.T.A.L.K.E.R. Shadow of Chornobyl. Man, S.T.A.L.K.E.R. isn't for everyone. It's one of those games that rarely shows up on lists, but if it clicks with you, it stays with you forever. It doesn't hold your hand. It just drops you into this radioactive wasteland and basically says, good luck. And somehow that's exactly what makes it brilliant. The atmosphere is unmatched. The zone feels alive, and definitely not in a friendly way. You'll hear faint whispers, distant gunfire, or that eerie static noise from your detector, and suddenly your heart's pounding. You're always on edge, scavenging for bullets, food, and filters, never quite sure what's waiting around the next corner. What's crazy is how immersive it still feels today. The game doesn't rely on cheap jump scares. It's that slow, creeping dread that gets under your skin. You feel isolated, small, human. Every artifact you find feels earned. Every fight feels desperate. Revisiting S.T.A.L.K.E.R. in 2025 is like returning to a nightmare you didn't realize you missed. It's brutal, it rewards patience, and it's not just a game, it's an experience that tests your nerves and lingers in your mind long after you've turned it off. 14. NieR Automata. I don't even know where to start with NieR Automata. It's one of those games that completely messes with your head, in the best way possible. You think you're just playing an action game with cool androids and flashy combat, and then, out of nowhere, it hits you with philosophy, heartbreak, and existential dread. 2B and 9S aren't just characters, they're reflections of us, trying to find meaning in a world that's long lost its humanity. Every time I replay it, I catch something new. A line, a look, a moment that just hurts. It's art disguised as a video game. And let's talk about that soundtrack. It's honestly one of the most beautiful ever made. Sometimes I just sit there in silence after a mission, letting the music sink in. It's emotional, haunting, and uplifting all at once. If you've never played NieR Automata, you owe it to yourself. And if you have, replay it, because it hits even harder the second time. It's not just a 10 out of 10 game. It's one of those rare experiences that make you question life, loss, and purpose.
15. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Hellblade isn't just a game, it's a journey through the human mind. I still remember the first time I played it with headphones on, and honestly, I had to stop for a moment. The voices, the whispers, the sound design, it's so real, it's almost uncomfortable. You're not just playing as Senua, you're living her pain. This game doesn't throw monsters at you every 5 seconds. Instead, it traps you inside her thoughts, her fears, her grief, her struggle. Every step feels heavy. Every victory feels personal. And the visuals? Even years later, they're stunning. Not because of flashy graphics, but because everything feels real. It's one of the few games that left me sitting in silence after the credits rolled. It's emotional, raw, and incredibly powerful. You don't forget Senua. You don't forget her fight. In 2025, Hellblade still stands as one of the most intimate and fearless stories ever told in gaming. It doesn't just entertain you, it changes you, even if just a little.
16. The Elder Scrolls V: Skyrim. Alright, come on. You knew Skyrim had to be on this list. Even after all these years, this game still hooks you. You tell yourself, I'll just play for an hour. And suddenly, the sun's coming up, you've joined 3 guilds, slayed a dragon, and somehow adopted a kid. Skyrim is pure freedom. You can be whoever you want. A hero, a thief, a mage, or just some guy obsessed with collecting cheese. Every corner of the map hides something. A dungeon, a weird side quest, or a random encounter that spirals into a full-blown story. And honestly, no matter how many times I play it, I never get tired. There's always something new to find, some quest I somehow missed 10 years ago. That's the magic of Skyrim. It's endless, alive, and still one of the most addictive worlds ever made. Sure, it's not perfect, it's buggy, and sometimes the dragons fly backwards, but who cares? It's Skyrim. It's gaming comfort food at its finest. A world that always feels like home.
17. Assassin's Creed IV: Black Flag. Man, Black Flag isn't just another Assassin's Creed. It's the one that nailed it. The freedom, the exploration, the sea shanties. Man, that ocean still calls to me, even years later. There's something magical about steering your ship through a storm, cannons blazing, while your crew belts out songs about rum and freedom. Edward Kenway isn't your typical assassin either. He's reckless, flawed, and perfectly human. You watch him grow from a greedy outlaw into someone with purpose, and that journey hits harder than you'd expect. The world feels alive in a way most games still can't match. Every island, every ship, every hidden cove feels worth exploring. You can spend hours sailing, hunting sharks, or raiding forts, and somehow it never gets old. Even today, Black Flag still feels fresh. It's adventurous, bold, and packed with moments that just make you sit back and enjoy the ride. It's the kind of game that reminds you why you fell in love with open worlds in the first place. And honestly, it's probably still the best pirate game ever made.
18. God of War III Remastered. To wrap this up in the best way possible, this game might just be the ultimate one on the list. Haha. Before Kratos became the wise, bearded dad we know today, he was pure rage. A force of nature tearing through gods like they were nothing. And God of War 3 captures that raw fury perfectly. Every boss fight feels like an event. You're not just battling gods, you're dismantling an entire mythology. That opening sequence with Poseidon still gives me chills. The scale of everything is absolutely insane. It's like the game was made to show just how far gaming could go at the time.
But behind all that chaos, there's a story. One about vengeance, guilt, and the price of power. You almost feel sorry for Kratos. Almost. His rage is terrifying, but it's also kind of tragic. Even in 2025, God of War 3 hits like a runaway train. The remaster makes it smoother, but that raw, unfiltered energy, timeless. If you've only played the newer God of War games, you have to experience where it all began. It's brutal, epic, and absolutely unforgettable.
Alright, that's my list of 18 perfect 10 out of 10 games that still hold up like legends. Some of them defined whole genres, others just reminded us why gaming is the best form of storytelling out there. If there's one you haven't played yet, fix that now. Trust me, these games aren't just worth revisiting, they're worth remembering.